Okay, so I think today, again, not gonna have an intro, sorry. I'll work on getting something more professional done at a later time. But today I am actually going to try to make a video that's maybe a little bit helpful to those who have dogs and to those who depend a lot on getting testing done at the vet. With my dogs and my program, sorry, I got itches. I try to do as much hands-on as I can and educate myself so that way, and I'm gonna say a lot because I'm thinking, and it's still pretty early in the morning, so I'm just waiting for my brain to wake up. But with everybody in school and off to work, I figure this is a good time to sit down and make a video and kind of go over my testing, what test I have, and it might help somebody out there who either is trying to be more hands-on with testing their dogs or puppies, and maybe just like me, somebody who is not wanting to waste precious time just driving to a vet and paying an outrageous cost on some testing. You know, I like to take preventative measures right when I know that there's a problem. So I definitely hope that this video helps you out. Also, it lets you know a little bit more about me and my program and what I do. So that way you will feel a bit more comfortable dealing with me, or if you have dealt with me before, so that way you can kind of see behind the scenes of stuff that I actually do and have on hand, so that way I have the most healthy and happy dogs and puppies ever. So with that, I'm going to switch the camera around. I'm not a big coffee drinker, but that works. Let's see. Well, let me flip around. Not while I'm recording, so I'm gonna have to pause and flip and start again. Okay, so I'm just gonna be back here talking and kind of going over things. You're gonna see my hands and stuff here in a second, but these are my test that I have on hand, and I definitely try not to run out, especially with the amount of dogs that I have. And basically it's a rule of thumb is if one dog has it, they all do. So it helps with testing. Yesterday my Luna went outside and she had a sad tummy, and that's exactly why I'm doing this kind of testing now. I already did her testing, but I just kind of wanted to actually make a video to kind of show you what I do and how I use, you know, the test and samples. So first off, you have to have a clean area, definitely. Gloves. You're going to need to go and get a sample, and there are different samples for different tests. The ones that I have here in front are fecal test, and I'm going to go around, and I'm actually going to, the 3 tests we're doing today are these. And I'll get a picture of the test on the back, but this one is a canine Parvo virus. This one is a canine Giardia, and this one is a cryptosporidium, or crypto. These are all fecal tests. I'm doing these tests now because the birds are coming back, and usually birds will like to use outdoor dog bowls, water bowls, food bowls. You know, the birds will use the dog water bowls, especially as bird baths, and will get feces and stuff in there, and birds can carry lots and lots of bad things that'll make a dog sick. Tip, I actually have just a plastic container, and I'll show that later in the video, that whenever my dogs aren't outside using their water bowl, that I will use to actually cover it to make sure that no birds or anything else gets in there and gets water. You know, stray animals. We live rural, so we have, of course, there's always going to be like stray cats and stuff, but we also have raccoons, we have possums. We just have a lot of critters out here that can get into a yard, and when it starts getting hot, they want water. I never do feed my dogs outside. That's just something I don't do. It's just, for me, it's just calling for trouble, you know, ants and insects and just vermin coming into your yard. So I always feed my dogs inside, except for the ones that I will have outside on my kennel. They have raised dog food swinging doors, and when I'm out there, I make sure that they're eating, and I keep them on a schedule for food, so it's not like they leave food in their bowls. But let me get back to what I'm talking about here. Okay, so testing, fecal testing. These here are blood tests. These here, you can use whole blood, but most of them want you to use a serum that you have to use plasma with. So basically, whole blood is the blood drawn from the vein in a tube, and then when you spin it down, it separates the blood and the plasma, so you get actually a clear sample. And sometimes you can just test that sample. Sometimes they want you to put the sample in with a buffer. It just depends on the test. We're not going to really go into that too much, but the test, and let me make sure that I am, yep, I'm going to adjust a little bit to, there we go, and I'm going to zoom, maybe, let's see, nope, I'm doing this by myself, so definitely bear with me. Okay, so these are blood tests. Canine pregnancy, it's not actually a pregnancy test, it's a test for relaxin. When a female gets past 35 days, that's when I usually use these. I try to go closer to 40 days because when they have more relaxin in their blood, the test is stronger. So they basically call it a pregnancy test. And I do wish that they had urine ones, but that would be really hard to collect urine from a dog unless you like catheter them or something. But a blood test. I do not do blood tests. I do not do blood draws myself. I just am not comfortable doing it, so I just go to my local vet and I have the blood drawn. I usually have 2 different tubes done. I have a purple top tube done, which has a anticoagulant in it. It keeps the blood in a liquid form. And I have just a white top done, which is where it goes into a coagulated form. I just kind of like doing the blood test if I have both ways. Just me. This one is a brucella. Do these before you find out, or right, you know, before you're going to breed. It's basically to make sure the female is healthy and doesn't have, correct me if I'm wrong, you can leave it in the comment. I do believe it's kind of like a sexually transmitted disease. Like I said, I'm learning and I'm trying to do my best. So anything that I get wrong, just leave in the comments. Nice comments would be wonderful. I love getting nice comments. I hate people who look at a video and are like, blah, 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 without looking at any other videos. But, okay, this one here is leptospirea. This one here is just basically lepto. This one here is, oh, I got another relaxin test. See, I have boxes and I have boxes of boxes so I don't run out. Heartworm test. Again, these are all blood tests. And the ones that I use most, I have backups. Because again, I have a variety of different dogs. So I like to keep my stock. And yes, they do expire. Do you use ones that expire? You're not supposed to. I haven't seen any problem with going a little bit over. I mean, it's at what you want. All right, these two here are, okay, so canine distemper. This one here is basically a nasal swab. And all of them come with, I'll not open one up. You know what? Why don't we just open this one up? So this is for canine distemper. I'm going to scooch the blood test over. And these kits come with, this is a buffer. Not all of them come with buffers because not all of them need buffers. And just to show you what the buffers look like, the buffers are just little containers with solution in them. And the test that we actually are going to use have buffers. And they will have your Q-tips. And in here is the test. And they're all marked. They're marked on the test. They're marked on the package what they are. And it has their expiration dates. Inside the test is a dropette or a pipette where you get your sample and you put it into the test. So each test will have just different things, and like this has its directions. And this is collect dogs nasal or anal secretions. I'd rather do nasal. Don't like getting around the butt if I don't have to. All right, so that one is nasal. Now this one here is rabies. This is rabies test. Rabies, you do need a saliva sample. So again, there's different samples that you get from four different tests. Saliva, nasal, anal swipe. I don't know why feces wouldn't be with that one, but it would go in the nose. And blood test. Blood test, some of them you can use whole blood, some of them you can just use plasma, some of them you'll have to use a buffer solution. And then the fecal ones are right here. I don't link stuff in the bottom of my descriptions yet on where I get stuff and what or not, but I do have a great person who I am in contact with who does a great pricing on these tests. If they were too expensive, I wouldn't be able to, first off, afford as many as I have and keep on hand. But this here is my little cool shelf. If you've seen my videos, I have just a black shelf outside, and on my black shelf I have like 4 or 5 of these. These I got off of Amazon, and I love these. This container is, or those containers, is basically my medical rack, and anything that I need to have protected a little bit more from the dust and the dirt and hair and everything that comes in, especially in an area that's mainly for, you know, my dogs, especially the medical stuff, I keep in here. And I love these. Not only do they look good, they're also very, very strong. They're very, very well built. I do love the little doors where I can actually see through. I can pick them up if I need to move them. They do have wheels if I need one on the floor, if I'm doing something and I need it mobile. You can stack them one on one if you want, but like I said, I have one of those metal shelves and I just put one on each shelf. So it just is nice to have these. So this is where all my tests are kept. And as you can see, I have an extra box in here of something. I do have my sharps container and my tube and pregnancy test containers. Yep, you can see all of this stuff does get properly disposed of. So I have samples in here, pipettes, tests, all that good stuff in there to keep it contained. I do have on hand right now my white cap blood draw tubes, and right now I only have one more of my purple anticoagulant tubes, so I'm going to have to order another rack of my purple tops. And it looks like a lot, and in all honesty it is, but I like to have it on hand and more than I need. I do have syringes for when I do give shots, if I need to give any medication. That I'm not scared of. I can give a shot, you know. I can chip. I can do, but blood draw, woo, that's just another level that I just don't want to do. This is my other bag of supplies here. This is what I use for like my wormings and any other oral medications I have. I have a ton of these, and in many different sizes. Let's see what I need. You know, especially when you're doing puppies, you want to make sure that you're dosing, because I deworm my puppies also before they go to their first vet visit. I make sure that they're dewormed. I also do pre-treat my puppies for Giardia. Again, I try to do a lot of hands-on before we get to the vet visit. I usually take them between 6 and 7 weeks, but I am actually being proactive with my puppies, you know, before we get to the vet, to make sure that we don't get to the vet and there's a problem. And again, for larger dogs, you know, you don't want to keep filling up a smaller one of these when you need a large amount. So I have all of my supplies here. And what else? Okay, so I know I'm going on and on and on. This is about testing, but I just kind of wanted to make this a very inclusive video. I wanted to let you know what I do, how I have my stuff set up, how I go about keeping things organized and clean, what I have on hand, and just kind of, you know, I want people who deal with me or get dogs for me, or even people who don't get dogs for me, to see that there are things that you can do to be more proactive with the health of your pet. If you're a breeder, the dogs you breed, the puppies you breed, you can be more proactive than just being at the mercy of a vet. And again, I love vets. I love my vet. My vet is awesome. I mean, my vet doesn't talk to me like I'm dumb, because, you know, sometimes I can't pronounce a word, or sometimes I get stuff mixed up, but they work with me very well, and they know that I'm a breeder, and I am super hands-on with everything. And it makes me very happy and proud to have a vet that looks at me and is like, okay, you know what? You know your dogs, you know what you're doing. You know, let's bridge that gap of, I'm the vet, I know best, I went to the school, you didn't. So I am very lucky to have a vet that works with me, and a vet's office that loves me. And I know they love me because I order them pizza sometimes, and I bring in cookies, and I bring in stuff to show them that I appreciate them working with me, because being a breeder, I am a little bit more needy than a normal person going to the vet, especially whenever I bring in puppies. I need paperwork done separate. I need, if I have a litter of 12 puppies, I need 12 different sets of paperwork, sometimes double the 12 sets. You know, when I go in and get x-rays for my females, you know, I definitely know my vet's office very well, and they know me very well. But I don't like going there just to go there. When I go there, I want to go there with knowledge on, hey, you know, I did an at-home pregnancy test. It's been 45 days, or we go in and I know she's pregnant and I'm like, hey, she tied this day. We did a pregnancy test on this day, confirmed pregnancy. That way on my calendar, I can be like, hey, we need to come in and get an x-ray for a puppy count. I don't do ultrasounds. I do more of x-rays at the end so I can get puppy counts. For me, that's a little bit better. If I had extra money to do ultrasounds, I probably would. Or, later on, in a couple of years, I might get me a cool ultrasound machine. That'd be really cool. But, again, I'm rambling on. I know. So, testing. I just like to talk and let everybody know a little bit more about me, what I do. And I'm repeating myself. I know. But, yep, let's get a sample and let's get into the testing, and we'll get everything all set up. I'll be right back. Okay, so I just went outside. Actually, it took me a little bit because I had to let all the dogs out, but I ended up letting Luna out first. Again, I did this yesterday with her. Because her tummy, I guess, was upset from eating too many treats, or I have no idea. She's getting a little bit older, so it could be hormones. I don't know, or somebody could have snuck her some extra treat or something that she's not actually supposed to have. But what I did was I let her out first, and she did do a number 2. And before I let any of the other dogs out, I went out and got a sample. And then I ended up having to let all my other dogs out because they said that's no fair. Luna got to go out. So I got my sample. And again, when you're getting a sample, please use gloves. What I did basically was I just took a plastic party cup, something that is absolutely disposable. You do not want to use something and then keep the container. I did get a disposable plastic spoon, and to keep the sample, especially the smell, contained, I used a Ziploc bag. So follow me if you can, and let's walk over. So I'm actually going to flip the camera in a second, but I have the sample here, and I have all my stuff set up, and I'm going to go through all of it with you, and I will let you know step by step what I'm doing. And again, if this video is too long, you can skip through it. You can do whatever you want. I know that this video is about doing a dog test, and it's always not as simple as hey, I'm going to put it in a test and just wait. Especially with me, I'm extremely thorough. So this video again is going to be a little on the long side. So if you don't like watching videos like this, if you don't, or if you want to see just the actual testing, just skip ahead, because I am actually taking the time to explain step by step on doing this. So I gotta pause, and I've got to turn the video around. So let's do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I am coming around, and I know the last part that I did, my head's cut off, and I don't know if my head's going to be cut off in this one, but you're not here to see my head. You're here to see these tests. So before I do that, I'm graduating from coffee to Coke, because I do not want to get a dry mouth while I'm talking. Okay, so our tests here are in a row of 3. This first row is canine distemper, fecal test. Second row is canine Giardia, fecal test. Third one is cryptosporidium, or crypto, fecal test. All 3 of these tests will come with buffers. All 3 of these tests will come with Q-tips, and all 3 of these tests will come with test. And inside the test is actually the test itself and a pipette or a dropper. Now, a tip is when you're doing a fecal test, you do not use a big giant sample. This I had to learn the hard way because nobody told me this, and this was not in the directions. But if you use a big sample, and you need to use more of a liquidy sample, if you use a hard piece, you're gonna have to wait for it to dissolve, and it's just a mess. But liquid is a little bit easier to use. I mean, if you have to use a hard piece, just make sure that it breaks down really, really good into the buffering solution before you try to use a sample. Okay, so don't use a lot of sample, and the reason why is because there's not a whole lot of buffer serum or buffer solution in these, and you want to make sure that your sample that you're testing is liquid enough where it's going to go through the test. So if you just have this big old sample of feces and it's just a whole bunch of caked feces, you are not going to have enough liquid to actually have the test be worth using. It's just going to clog up and you're not going to get a good test. All right, so I'm getting everything set out. I do not need gloves right now because I am not messing with the sample. And I know it's very, 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 what do you call it, tedious using one of each. And I do that because I want the test and the supplies to correspond and what's in the box. I don't want to have to try to open up 5 boxes trying to look for Q-tips when I don't need to. And again, I have the directions here. There is a control line and a test line, a C line and a T line. Control line means the test is working, and you definitely want to see a line there. T line is a test line. If there is no line in the T area, it is a negative. If there is a line in the T area, it is a positive. If you do not get a control line, but you get a positive in the test is invalid. You do not want to use that as a result. So you definitely need to have a control line present to make sure that the test is properly working. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead, and I know it says open these after you get your sample, but I'm messing with feces here, so I am not gonna let it kind of sit and wait. Also, I do not dispose of feces in the biohazard container. That is just for blood. Feces goes back into the Ziploc bag and right into the trash can and right outside. All right, so let me show you. All right. And here in a second, I am going to pause and get a picture of what I'm seeing so you can see what I have set up here. Let's see. The only test that I see right now that is not marked actually on the test is the crypto test. And control line, test line, and sample. But you see that there's no actual, I don't know if they forgot to put that because there's the actual space for something, but I don't know if they forgot to put that. This one is marked GIA for Giardia, control, test. And again, I can't see my phone on the other side. I wish I had a screen that I could live screen it on, but sample, Giardia. CPV stands for canine parvo virus. For those of you who did not know, control, test, and sample. And I'm going to be doing, after I take a picture of this setup here, I will be doing a live testing so you can see. And then these are the little pipettes. They are tapered at the bottom. They are single use only, please. Do not try to sanitize them and reuse them. Sterile Q-tip and buffer solution. All right, I am gonna get ready to pause the video so I can stop and take a picture and, you know, give you my point of view. Okay, so again, later on I will get a lot better on making videos and editing and doing all this cool stuff. But right now, I'm just wanting to do things the way I do it. And you know what? It works for me. It makes me happy. Okay, so I'm still cold, so I'm not taking off my jacket. But I do have my sample here. And since I'm not going to be spinning or splashing too much of anything, you know what? That will, just thinking out loud to myself, I think I'm going to buy maybe some disposable aprons. That would be good. All right, so I'm going to get the test stuff prepped here. And again, nothing has touched the fecal sample yet. So it's just opening my supplies and getting everything ready. So when I start, I don't have to keep constantly opening stuff. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get that all done right now. Because once I mess with Luna's number 2, I want to make the contact with that as short as possible. All right. Now, again, why am I using 3 different Q-tips? I have 3 different containers, and I'm pretty sure the buffer solution is the same in all of them. But again, it's for each sample. So I'm going to, and this is the most unpleasant, you know what, I'm gonna move my soda away. All right, and again, Luna's sample is a little bit watery, and again, I'm just gonna be using, I know that's gross. Here, just a little bit. Put it in the buffer. And well, I wish these were easy break ones, but they're not. Well, okay, so what I am going to end up doing is, my hands are still clean, no worries. I'm going to actually cut the Q-tip, put the stem in there, and I'm going to do this 3 more times because I do want the buffer to dissolve the sample. And again, just a tiny bit, not big hole. All you need is a tiny bit. And then I have to sanitize my scissors after this. And again, I want the sample to be completely dissolved. And the last one. if you get too much, you just knock off a little bit of extra where there's not a whole lot of buffer solution in that one. So I'm just going to take a little bit of this sample off, but there's still plenty there to get a good sample. And close. All right, so that's why I got 2 sets of gloves. Oh, Luna, girl, you whew. You know what I gotta do? Man. Girl, that definitely was, should have, next time if I ever do something like this, I will for sure, gotta sanitize these. I will for sure, light a candle first. Yep. Okay. So, usually the test will say put 3 to 4 drops of solution. So I am going to crack just a little bit of the bag open, so that way once I get my sample put into the test, I can just cap it up and throw it away. So first test we're going to do is the crypto test. I'm actually going to throw all this stuff away. This bag will just be trash bag as well as sample bag. Okay, so again, you see that there is sample in there. It's been in there for about a minute or so, 2 minutes, dissolved. I keep the part of the Q-tip in there so that way there's something solid in there. So when I'm shaking in that, there's something in there to give it a little bit of resistance. Yeah, kind of like a wash machine, how it got a irritator. Is it called an irritator? I think it's called an irritator. It's just making sure that it breaks down a little bit of those particles. So, okay. Opening first sample. And you want to squeeze to get the air out. Put the point in and make sure you're drawing up liquid. Again, it says 3 to 4 drops. So I usually make sure it's 1, 2, 3, 4. I give it a second, make sure the test pulls in enough liquid. And I'm supposed to leave it horizontal, but you can see that the test is pulling in the liquid. Is it gonna go all the way to control? Let me just put another 1, 2 drops because I did tip it. And give me just a second and I'll show you. I don't know if you can actually see that, but the test is activating, it's turning pink, and we have a control line. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna squeeze back that sample, disposable bag, and please, if you do this, cap that up. You do not want that to be loose in the disposal bag. All right, next one is the Giardia test. And again, just kind of doing a shake, making sure everything is liquidy. There's not a lot of buffer solution in this test. And I try to draw from the top so that way at least the heavy parts are more at the bottom where I can actually try to get more liquid. And again, we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm just gonna do an extra 1, 2 to make sure that the test gets saturated. Now, if you put in another 1 or 2 drops, it isn't gonna hurt anything. It isn't gonna give you any more of a sample. I just do it because I want the test to be saturated. So we're gonna dispose of these. And the Giardia test is saturated, and you can see the control line. And then the last one is canine parvovirus. Oh, and what is today's date? Today is March, not February. Don't say February. It is March the 21st. It's a Thursday. Oh no, I took my... Okay, so seriously, this is the same sample I just walked away with to check my calendar. So please don't think I went and got another sample. Nope. This is the parvovirus test. And again, if any of my dogs, which my dogs are all vaccinated, or any of my puppies had parvo, parvo is very, very deadly, and it's very aggressive. And if any of my dogs ever had parvo, it would just wipe out everything. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's make sure the test gets saturated. Yeah, parvo is very, very bad to have. Oh, my dogs hear the male person getting ready, or the melee getting ready to pass the house. You hear them? They can hear her all the way down the street. That way I know the male's coming. My table's just a little bit crooked, so I'm going to help the test just a little bit. See, this is why you kind of don't throw away your sample yet. I'm just going to get another dropped or two to make sure it gets fully saturated. And I think my table's kind of going downhill a little bit. Now the tests are invalid after 10 minutes. So results after 10 minutes are not accurate. But let me read you just in case. Do they have, I thought I read something that said do not, oh, here we go. Interpret the results in 5 to 10 minutes. Results after 10 minutes are considered invalid. So, let's move the actual test down here. And then I'm going to take these off, and what I'm going to do is I am going to turn the camera around and do a shot of all of this so you can see it. Not just a picture, but man, I am an avid Mountain Dew drinker, but that Coke is sure tasting good. All right, so here we go. You ready? Let me disconnect my battery. All right. So I am going to straighten out my camera real quick. There we go. And I'm going to tilt down. Yep, I have a handy dandy what do you call these things? Gimbal. So that way my videos don't look like they're too shaky. At least I hope they don't look like they're too shaky. But, all right, so we have our testing kits and our test with our samples. And we're gonna start from the beginning. So we do have our crypto test. It's been about, well, I can't say it's been about 5 minutes. I haven't really looked at the time, but It is clear with the test says. C for control, T for test, S for sample. There is a control line, so that means the test is working. There is no T line, which means the test is negative. Then we have our Giardia test. And again, Giardia, GIA, the test is actually marked where the canine crypto test was not, but that is a crypto test. C, control, there is a line. T for test is no line, so that means the test is negative. S for sample. And then we have our canine parvo virus rapid test. Parvo, you know, so CPV. Control line means the test is valid. There's a control line. T, test line, there is no test line, it's negative. And S for sample. Yeah, this is definitely what I have. So also let me, I'm gonna quickly take you outside. So, well, not outside, but let me show you real quick how I have my water bowl set up. So, there's my water bowl, and it's covered, and my dogs are in here, or outside, and they're all going off. Yep, they all want to go back outside, but it's kind of a dreary day, so. All right. I'm going to pause this video and I will be right back. Okay, so if that's all you were wanting to see is the testing and doing the testing, then you can go ahead and end this video. But I am going to do a real cleanup and I'll do a little bit of talking. Got to sanitize my scissors. Yep. Sanitize my scissors. So, what do you think? Do you think that this is a good idea, a good preventative, something to do at home? Would you prefer just to go and have your vet do it? You know, let me know your thoughts. Do you think that this is worthwhile to do? Me, myself, yes, definitely. I definitely think my dogs are worth taking the extra time and cost to do this for them. And again, I'm not touching any of this fecal stuff because I'm just going to wrap it all up and throw it away. But yeah, this is just something that I do, especially if one of my dogs is just not acting right. You know, if I do testing that I think needs to have a blood test done, then I will take them and let the vet know, hey, there might be something going on here. I just want to do a blood draw. You know, take precautions when I go to the vet, because if they do have something, I do not want any other dogs from the vet to get that. And again, that's why I do all this on a pee pad. Disposable doggy pee pad. Wrap it up and it's done. So we'll put all of that in here. And before I close it all the way, I'm just one of them cleaner freaks. I just want to make sure that I, oh, wait a minute. Has the camera been following me instead of showing you where? Maybe. Let's see. Yep, it has been following me, hasn't it? So let's do this. Let's just get you over to where I was. Ta-da! Now you can see after I got everything already done. Sanitized my scissors. I have my Clorox wipes, cleaned up everything. Right now I'm re-sanitizing my hands. Didn't touch anything, but you know what? I gotta go wash my hands here in 2 seconds. So I'm gonna put all my testing supplies up and just get everything back how it was. If you like this video, even though yes, I know it was kind of long, I am trying to get up to hopefully 100 subscribers. Right now I think I'm at like 23. You know, I keep making videos so that way I can reach people, let people know about me, let people know about my dogs, my program, my life, you know, just a little overall of everything. And it makes me happy when I get a thumbs up, a like, you know, subscribe. Hey, I learned this, I didn't know that. Hey, this, you know, could be better. If you do have something that you would like to comment, I do appreciate comments in a positive, more constructive manner instead of a, you know, harsh manner. But then again, you're always welcome to your opinion. Again, I am not a professional in this at all in any means. I grow every day. I learn stuff new every day. I do what I feel I can do. I don't do more than I'm able to, because I do not just have my dogs and then puppies, and I have my children, I have my family, my husband, my house, all my everyday life that I do, and I have things to take care of. And I again just am rambling on at the end, but this kind of video lets you know about what kind of person I am, and it just gets you a little bit more comfortable with me. Especially my first videos. My first videos, I mean, they were taken long time ago, and of course they were done vertically and not horizontally. Awful videos. Trying to learn how to edit, trying to learn how to do everything. I mean, I still use Windows 7 for crappy sake. So trying to learn all of this new stuff to do editing and voiceovers and trying to do copyright stuff. You know, when you're self-teaching, it gets hard. But again, rambling on in this video, so I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Thank you again for watching. If you watched it from the beginning to the end, if you skipped through it, thank you. If you left a comment, thank you. Hopefully, thank you more if it was a positive one. If you subscribed, thank you. That is awesome. I am trying to get up to 100 subscribers. Yay! Work at small goals first, you know. But every day I will try to do something, you know, fun, something constructive, you know, something that not everything is going to be entertaining, but hopefully what I do can be educational, you know. All right, so I am going to do a goodbye, and I'm looking at the buttons, but all right, see you in the next video.